Do you have a budget routine in place but still feel like there's never quite enough money left at the end of the month? When finances feel tight, it's easy to assume that you need to earn more money or pick up a side hustle. But before you add more to your already full plate, it may be worth taking a closer look at where your money is currently going. In this episode, I'm going to share 5 places that you can cut expenses immediately to free up that money in your budget and create a little bit more breathing room. Because these simple strategies can help you reduce financial stress, spend more intentionally, and make your money work harder for you.
Are you ready to stop the chaos, the stress, the overwhelm that's filling your life? I'm Renae Matt, and together you and I are going to build simple routines that are going to change your life. When you put these habits into practice, you're going to be able to organize your life in a way where you can be there for your family, pay off your debt, save money, your house can stay organized, you don't have to stress about what's for dinner, and you still get time for yourself. So without further ado, let's get started. Welcome to the Routine Advantage Podcast.
Now, when we are going through our financial journeys, especially in the beginning, if you're trying to get out of debt and you're trying to reduce those expenses, we can have periods of time where we have that extra job or the side hustle, and there is nothing wrong with that. But what we really want to look at is how can we get ourselves on a good financial path and we can end up creating more space, and then for a short period of time maybe we have that second job to get us out of debt, and then that also helps free up more money in our budget. So then it's a choice whether or not we want to have a second job, not a necessity. So, no matter what season you're in, if you are looking for practical ways to save money, reduce those monthly expenses, and create more margin in your budget, then this episode is going to be for you because earning more isn't always the first solution. And a lot of times, I think that most of us think that little things are not going to add up and they don't make that much of a difference. And it's like, oh, it's only $10 here. It's only $15 here. It's only $20 here. Like, that's not going to be that big of a deal in my monthly budget. But when we start to compile all of these different ways that we can save money, those small expense cuts can add up very, very quickly and create that immediate relief in your budget. And when you roll this over month to month, it is amazing how much of a difference it can truly make. So, we're going to go through those 5 ways to reduce the monthly expenses and save money fast and or pay off debt fast or do whatever you're trying to do. Just create that margin in your budget. So, number 1 is to review your subscriptions. This one is huge because a lot of us don't even realize it's happening, especially if we're not tracking. If you're tracking your money and you are tracking your budget, then you probably see these coming out, but you might not realize how many you have because they're coming out at different times of the month as well. So, what you want to look at here is you want to look at several different things. Any type of subscription, whether it is streaming services, subscription boxes, it's your phone apps or software memberships. It is anything that is a recurring expense. If you have any grocery delivery or like monthly essentials that are being delivered every month. There are so many things that have a subscription option now. And a lot of times you get a discount when you have those subscriptions. So you end up signing up for the subscription to get the discount. And then it just starts rolling over and you forget to cancel it. And that is what happens. So take a look at your subscriptions and find out what you are actually using and cut anything you possibly can. That is going to create a good substantial amount back into your budget depending on what your spending habits are, but for most people this is going to be a decent chunk of money each month. And while you're doing this, grab a piece of paper and just write down how much you're saving by cutting each thing. Every time you cancel a subscription, write down how much it is. And by the end of this, you will probably have a good amount that you can just add up all of your savings and see how much of a difference it made for you. And one thing to note too here is that if you do have several different streaming services, like television streaming services, what you could do here too is consider rotating them instead of paying for them all at once. So if you have, Netflix and Prime and Hulu and Apple TV, and you've got all of these different streaming services, if you are paying for all of them every single month, but you're not really using all of them every single month, consider rotating. So you get, Hulu in January, and then you get uh Apple TV in February, whatever you want to do. But rotate them through. Like watch what you want on that streaming service, and then when you get a little bored of it, then cancel that one and and swap to the other one or pause it. And then you have less expenses, but you still get the benefit of the streaming services. So that is an option, for sure, but you definitely want to review all of your subscriptions. And then number 2 is to focus on saving money at the grocery store. So this one is a big one because so many of us buy so many unnecessary things at the grocery store. So what you really want to do here is you want to have a meal plan created before you even think about going shopping. So create your meal plan, and then you want to make sure you're checking your pantry and your fridge and your freezer before you make your final grocery list. So you can do this in tandem with making your meal plan and build your meals based on what you already have on hand. That is a really great way of doing it because then it reduces your grocery list because there's so much that you already have in your pantry, fridge, or freezer. And then you're making your grocery list. And then the key here is that you are sticking to your grocery list. So if it's not on your list, it does not go in the cart. And you really want to avoid grocery shopping when you're hungry because that's going to make this even more difficult. So if you are going to go grocery shopping, make sure you have a little snack or a meal ahead of time and then go, because these small planning habits can significantly reduce your food waste and the overspending habits that most of us have, especially at the grocery store. And then we've got number 3, which is to stop our online impulse purchases. So this one is hard for me, especially. Like I do struggle with this one. I get into those habits and I get bored and I start like adding things to the cart and I'm like, "Oh, I need this." And then it's just in my brain until I want to buy it. But using these tips, it does help, and it has significantly, changed how I spend online. So this one is definitely a good one if you have an online purchasing habit, just because it's so convenient and it makes it really hard to stick to, but we can do it. I promise you we can do it. So if you are an impulse purchaser online, what I want you to do is have a waiting period, whether it is 48 hours. I would for sure give yourself 48 hours. If you can do it until, next week or next paycheck, ideally, what you want to do is you would want to wait until next month so that you can actually add it into your budget so that it is planned for. And what you are doing is giving yourself a period of time where you put it in the cart and then you leave it alone, you do not check out, and then you have that waiting period to realize whether or not you actually need it. Do you need it? Will you actually use it? Is it worth delaying that financial goal that you're working towards by putting the money towards something else? So it gives you time to really think it through. And a lot of times when you get back to it, you will like, you will question why you even put it in the cart, or you're like, "Yeah, I definitely don't need that." Like, the desire to have it, that strong desire to have it has passed, and you are perfectly fine removing it from your cart and moving on with your day. There are gonna be periods of time where you come back to a purchase and it's like, "Yeah, I still really want that. I think we could use it. It would be really beneficial." And then at that point, you can decide if it is worth spending the money on or if you're going to put it into next month's budget and buy it next month. But this is key, like, especially for larger purchases, you want to wait a large amount of time. But the other thing to think about here is that even for smaller purchases, they can add up so quickly. We might look at a larger purchase and be like, yeah, that one is going to be a huge purchase and we really second guess ourselves on it. But then at the same time, we're making these little purchases consistently and they're adding up to even more than the large purchases because we're not recognizing them as a big expense, but they are adding up so quickly that they end up costing more than the large purchase we were looking at. So this one it's like it makes you hyper aware of where you're spending money, and it just makes it so much easier to make those decisions once you have a little bit clearer mind and you're not in that focused mode of wanting to buy it right now. And then we're going to go to number 4, which is to negotiate your current bills. Now, this isn't going to apply for everything. Like, obviously, there are going to be some bills that are just stuck and you can't really negotiate those, but there are some that you can, like your insurance, your internet, your phone. Those are the types of things that you can try to negotiate to reduce the cost and get a better price. So call your insurance provider, ask them about any discounts or policy reviews, and try and get a cheaper rate. Research competitors, especially your pricing for your internet and your phone providers, and then contact them with those prices that have the better prices and see if they will do a competitor match so that you don't have to transfer providers because loyalty does not always equal the best rate when it comes to these types of things. Sometimes you have to call and talk to them about it. And more often than not, they will work with you because they want to keep you as a customer. So, calling and talking to them, like the worst that they can do is say no. And you will never get a discount if you don't ask for it because they're not just going to randomly come to you and be like, hey, like you've been paying for a while, let's just reduce your rate. But if you call and you ask them, and then a lot of times they will reduce it at least for a period of time. And then, like, I have talked to them before and they will give me a discount for the year or whatever it is. And then they just say, call back again when this expires and we'll get it on again for you. Because I'm usually very kind when I call and I'm just asking for a discounted rate or if there's anything that we can do because of the loyalty that we've had to the company or anything like that. And a lot of times they will reduce it. So, this is a great option if you are struggling, especially for your monthly bills. This is what I learned when we were really going through our early years of marriage. And I was so stressed every time we would have to pay the bills. I would be in tears because we just couldn't afford everything. And I would call and I would always be kind to them and just ask them for a discount, and they were always really good about it and, saying that that was definitely an option. So I didn't even really have to go through any hoops or give any income statements or anything like that. They would just reduce it for me, and that made a big difference in our, finances each month because everything was so incredibly tight at that time. So that is definitely something that is an option because they do want to keep you as a customer. So they're going to try and do that. And they have such a high markup on those services anyway that they can give you that balance because they can bring it down for you if you're really struggling to try and keep you as a customer. And finally, the fifth thing that you can try is a no spend challenge. Now, this you can try for a no spend week or even a no spend month. But what you can do here is to just focus on spending on necessities only. And you have to be really, really honest with yourself on what is actually a necessity or if you can use something that you already have on hand. Like if you have, hand soap that is in the house and you've got several different kinds, but you run out of your favorite, that doesn't mean that you need to go buy hand soap because you still have plenty at home. Or shampoo or conditioner. Like we know that we have those certain ones that we really like, but we probably still have some of the ones that we don't really like as much. Like let's use up what we already have and try and make it into a fun like family game or a personal challenge rather than a burden. Like we have to focus on it with a good mindset and it makes it a little bit more fun. So this is definitely something that my husband and I need to do again. We've done it for like really short periods of time, but we've never done a full month. And I think it would be really interesting to do it for a full month. I know my brother and sister-in-law, like they do this pretty often where they have a no spend month and then they actually like will extend it out because they're having like it's a good month and they're enjoying it and then they extend it out for another month and then they go another month. I think one time I talked to them, they were on like month 3 of doing this where it's only the super necessities that are purchased. Otherwise, everything else, like you focus on what you already have in your home and use up what you have. So not only are you getting rid of, clutter that is taking up your home because you're trying to use up what you have, but you're also reducing the impulse to spend because you are removing yourself from it. So when you actually come back into spending mode, it's not going to feel as strong because we have taken such a long period of time from being able to like satisfy that impulse urge to click the button or to swipe our card and spend money. So this is a fun one. You can also focus on like just tracking day by day on when you don't spend money, or you can actually track how much you would have bought. If you know that you would have gone and you would have spent $100 at this store or online, just write that down so that you can kind of focus on like, this is how much I saved today because this is how much I would have spent if I was spending, and then see how much, like, add it all up at the end of your challenge and see how much you actually saved. And then if you want to use that money towards a financial goal. So it's not just extra margin in your budget that month, but maybe all of that money is going to go towards a certain debt or towards your emergency fund or towards your, vacation for next year. Like those are the types of things that you can do where when you are saving, bits of money, it all adds up. So put it where it's going to best serve you in your financial goals. So that is what I have for you today. I hope that you realize that you do not need to overhaul your entire life to make progress with your finances. You can start with one area this week and just see how much margin you can create in your budget and like notice how those small changes that are repeated consistently can make a big difference in your budget over time. So I hope that this was helpful for you. I hope it kind of spurred some inspiration. I will quickly recap those 5 easy ways to reduce monthly expenses and save more money fast is to number one, review your subscriptions. Make sure you are looking at all of them, including your phone apps. And if you are using streaming services, consider rotating them instead of paying for them all at once. Number two, is to focus on saving money at the grocery store. This is where you are creating your meal plan before you're shopping. You're making sure you're checking your pantry, your fridge, and your freezer, and you are sticking to your grocery list. Number three is to stop the impulse purchases online. And this is where you give yourself a certain amount of time as a waiting period. I would suggest at least 48 hours, but ideally, it would actually be waiting until the next month's budget to actually decide whether or not it is something that you really need and will use, and if it's worth delaying the financial goal that you have. And number four is negotiating your current bills. So it's calling your insurance, your internet, and your phone providers and bringing them the research that you did with competitor pricing and asking if they will do a competitor match. Number 5 is trying a no spend challenge. So this is where you are choosing a week or a month or whatever time period works for you. You focus on only spending on absolute necessities. Otherwise, the challenge is to use only what you have in your home already. Use up what you have and try to save any money that you can. You can either focus on tracking one day at a time or you focus on tracking how much you're actually saving through that period of time. And then you can use the money as margin in your budget or towards an actual like financial goal, like a debt payoff plan or towards your emergency fund, however you would like to do it. So I hope that this was helpful for you. I hope it creates more margin in your budget and helps you reach your financial goals even faster because, like I said, small changes repeated consistently can make a big difference in your budget over time because they add up very quickly.
Did you love that episode or learn something useful? If so, would you do me a huge favor? My goal is to grow this podcast and help as many women as I can break free from the overwhelm so they can truly enjoy their life. The best way for me to do this is for you to leave a 5-star written review on your podcast app and to share this episode with a friend or in your Instagram stories. I appreciate you being here. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you on the next episode. Take care.